Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back. To any new subscribers, thank you. I'm glad to have you here and welcome. I'm sorry it's been a while, on the new series while our prayers are not being answered. So I'll be making sure I catch up on that. But what I wanted to do is give a word today about something else, and that is it's based off a movie that Jesus guided me to watch. And I want to say it's called Royal Queen, I believe. I'll have it in the description if anybody wants to watch it. But my word is basically saying, ready or not, it's happening. So this movie has a lot of spiritual things in it. It has more to do with the kingdom spouse journey than anything. But it also has a lot of other things spiritually that God talks to us about throughout our journey. So a lot of you, if you have been guided by God and he's told you you're going somewhere, he's shown you your promises, he's saying, if I had you in that season where you were preparing, if you did not prepare, you played around, you didn't, he's saying, regardless, if I told you that and I've shown you that and I've tried to get you to move and get ready for their purpose, you're still going there if you're ready or not. So let's break this movie down. Okay, so it was a lady. She was in poverty. She was chosen to be a royal queen. So as she was in her preparation season, the deal with her was that she was surrounded by a stepmother because her father was already deceased. He had married a woman that was her stepmother that did not like her. She mistreated her. She did all kinds of things to her. Then her stepsister was also mean to her and mistreated her, and they always ganged up against her. She had a brother that was her stepbrother, but he was always sweet to her. He always helped her out. He always went against his mom and sister for her. So she was just walking down the street, and this man stopped in the middle of the street, and he asked her name, but she was like very shy. She was standoffish. She wouldn't say anything, but the sister stepped in and was trying to get his attention and all that. She could tell he was rich. He had money based off the car he was driving, and he had a driver. So he said, no, I just, I want to talk to her. And she got upset. She went back home and told her mom and lied to her and said she was being fondled in the street and all this other stuff, what people do when they're jealous of you. So she started talking to him, and they laughed and they joked, and he wanted to get to know her. Come to find out, he was the prince. So she goes back home. The lie that her sister told, she knew her sister was lying. Her daughter was lying to the mom, but she went ahead and she was evil to her. She threw her out of the compound of the house because she said, she went ahead with the lie that her daughter was telling her. So this whole time that she was with her mother and her stepsister, she should have been preparing for where she was going. And that's why he put her in this situation of where her mom was evil. Her sister was evil because he was trying to get her to speak up for herself. And like I said, he's sending you to places where you're speaking up for people that can't speak up for themselves. So you have to be able to speak up for yourself in your wilderness. If you cannot do that, then you won't be able to speak up for people in your promised land. So she never spoke up for herself. She let him beat her. She let him mistreat her. She let her go without food. She did a lot of work, and her brother would have to sneak her food and water, and she never spoke up and said anything. The brother will always speak up for her. So, like he said, I will bless you in front of your enemies. That's what he did. The prince came to her house and told her mother he wanted to marry her. And they were mad. She was trying to push the stepdaughter on him, but he was not interested, because once God says this person is your person, no matter what happens to you, no matter what you look like, no matter what situation you in, that man is for you. That woman is for you. He means that. So She went, he told him, yeah, I want to marry her. And then they found out he was the prince. The mother was upset. She was upset, and she kept on trying to push her daughter on. It was times where he would come and they would lie and say she's not there. They try to poison her food. They did so much because he came and tried to introduce her to his mother, and they loved her, the mother and the father. But he was preparing her because his mother ended up being evil and ended up killing her. And this is the thing. He has to prepare you to learn how to fight in the spirit. Learn how to fight in your preparation. He has to prepare you because he's saying where you're going, you're going to deal with similar situations. And you need to know how to fight against it and not let it overtake you. See, sometimes we cause our own deaths. We cause our own demise because we don't learn from our mistakes. She went through them trying to poison her when she was living with her stepmother. So that should have been a red flag. Like, okay, I know my enemies. I should never eat after my enemies. I should pray before I do anything. God should have been number one. She should have learned how to fight in the spiritual battle, warfare against her enemies. But she didn't. The whole time she was there, she just got mistreated. She just let stuff go on. God was not in her life. There's a lot of stuff she was missing. And she went into her purpose anyway. But she failed in her purpose because she became blind before she married him. And when the prince went back and told his mom, like, you know, she failed, she hurt herself, and now she's blind, he still married her. He still loved her. He said, I still love her. I'm still gonna marry her. The mama was against it, but he still married her. He said, if you don't agree and you don't let me marry her, I'ma, give you my title and I'm gonna walk away from this kingdom. But she said no, because the dad was getting sick and he had to take his rightful position. So she allowed him to marry her. The whole time she was there, she mistreated her. She was pregnant. She mistreated her. She did so much stuff to her. And she didn't even know how to fight back. She just got mistreated again and this and that. And the mom, you didn't learn from eating from your stepmother and your stepsister. You sit there and ate after the mom, and that was your enemy. You told your husband that she was beating on her, doing stuff to her there too. She told her husband. He didn't even use spiritual discernment. He didn't start taking action. And she ended up giving her some food and making it seem like she was trying to be nice to her and be cool with her, and ended up killing her. But he showed in the end, you will reap what you sow. The mother became blind. That blind her, the stepmother. She became blind. The mother and the two daughters had something to do with her dying, putting poison in her food. They end up dying. So you cannot do evil and don't think it's going to come back on you, because it will. And it's going to come back 20 times worse, because their punishments was way worse than her dying. But she could have prevented that death if she knew her enemies and she did not let them, succeed. So it's a lot that was in that movie that people can learn from. When you're in your preparation season, don't complain. Don't sit there and think that you have all the time in the world. Learn from Holy Spirit. Let your angels and Holy Spirit and Jesus teach you. Get ready for your promised land. Know if he showed you this is an enemy, pray, have God first, do what you need to do, and don't eat after them, don't nothing. You need to understand how it works and actually use your discernment the way you need to. So people need to understand that, and they need to take heed to that type of stuff. Like, this is why he puts you through preparation. And he's saying if you don't go through it and you don't learn the lessons, you're still going to where I'm sending you to, because this is a promise. So he always keeps his promises. So I just wanted to say that. Much love and all praises to the Most High.